day, it's that daytime. Oh, man. And we are just like that. Just like that. Just like that. We're alive. And just a moment, let's get everything straightened. Greetings, salutations. Welcome to Boosters Gold. I know. I know. It is something after 10 o'clock, and you are listening to Conversation with TNathan on this, the December the 8th. I had the date right. Today is December the 8th because Jimmy Carter will be buried on December the 9th, and I knew he wasn't buried today. So, welcome to Conversations with TNathan. How are you doing? I'm live now, Petra. I'm live now, Petra. Main page and everywhere else. It is 10:12, and no matter what people tell you, so it's I'm blaming a friend of mine that called me, and we had a conversation, and of course the conversation only ended 2 minutes 2 minutes after okay, yeah, 10 minutes into my live, but we are here now. How is everyone doing? Give everybody a chance to catch up. Yeah, Petra, greetings, salutations. All right, I am back. I am back. I am back streaming on all my platforms. Mm, Conversation with you can find it on YouTube, Twitch, and my main TikTok page. I have finally been approved to have this show on my main TikTok page with the podcast. All right, so it is what it is. And on certain days, we will go live on the backup account also to complement this. But right now, welcome to Conversations with Teenagers this December the 8th, 2025. And to the GCPR listeners, thank you. Thank you for listening. Um, fully back to the podcast, back to what my nighttime job actually is on the radio, and bringing it to you. And today, let's talk about it. Mm, we have the current occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue doing everything he should have done in the last 4 years that he was the occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And people are complaining, which is strange to me. Was reading a report in USA Today where Joseph Biden said he feels like he could have won the election. And I was like, why? Why? What is the obsession with people since November the 5th? That number one, you lost the election. Your party lost the election because your party is weak and not prepared to do the things it takes to win elections by taking the moral high ground that actually is no ground at all. He could have kept that to himself because you are doing all these executive orders now that you could have done throughout your presidency to address some of the very things you said were important, and you could have stayed in office. The work is why you all are not in office. The work is not is why the work and racism and bigotry. I don't know how to explain it. When I listen to these people talk about all the reasons that Kamala Harris lost the election and don't want to include racism, bigotry, and then we're watching the present system work the way it is to address things that people have been telling you they wanted to address for 4 years, and now you're addressing them, and you're wondering why didn't people listen? No, a bunch of BS, and it's because the Democrats are weak as ice water in the Arctic. Yes, they are. So yeah, they finally approved me for this, and this is what y'all get. So also, I love the president of Mexico. Yes, Claudia Sheinbaum is the bomb. She responded to Donald Trump talking about renaming the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. And it was a priceless level of pettiness that is deserving of him. See, the thing that the president of Mexico is showing people is that yeah, tyrants never give in quiet. I made a video about people saying, "Oh, we should be classy and decoric and just ignore people." No, she not only was she petty, she pulled up a map of 1607 to be very petty when America, as we know it, was part of Mexico. Oh, you gotta love it. What's up, Anubis? Yes, yes, Mary, she did. When she pulled up the map of Mexico from 1607 to say we're just going to start referring to the United States as Mexican America, I was living for it. I was like, see, this is that she didn't go to Mar-a-Lago to kiss his hand when Trudeau and all these other world leaders were running down to Mar-a-Lago. She she corrected that phone call conversation real quick when they was like, "Yeah, I'm not closing down the border. Yeah, not closing down the border." When he said we had a long talk with the president of Mexico, and she's gonna be closing the border, she said, "No, I'm not. I don't know where y'all got that from." That's how you do it. That's how you do it. The president of Mexico, whatever comes in this moment, deep respect for her standing up for her country, her people, and also pushing back on false narratives. Because obviously, we see we can't depend on Meta to do it anymore after the announcement from Mark Zuckerberg on how they're changing their guidelines. And I will say that, you know, some of those guidelines have been in place about not referring to trans people as it. That's going out the door. Being allowed to refer to women as household appliances is back in style. Being able to refer to black people as farm equipment is back in style. We're watching, and they say, well, we just don't want to have censorship. Okay, I'm going to tell you something, right? I'm going to tell you something. Okay, I'm going back to Facebook. I'm going back to Facebook. I'm going to test their boundaries of censorship. Yes, I'm going to test their boundaries of censorship. I'm going back to Facebook. I'm going to open up a public page on Facebook, and I'm going to do what I do on all social medias that I had stopped doing because Facebook always censored. I'm going to prove a point. I'm going to prove a point that I'm still be censored on Facebook. I'm going to prove the point I'm going to still be censored on Facebook. Yeah, because I'm going back. I'm going back to call every racist bigot a bitch. I'm going back to that. Those days when, videos will be taken down because of bullying, harassing of bitches. I'm going to prove my point. I'm going to show you all that that is only in place to protect racists and bigots. Because Zuckerberg and Meta has also appointed top Republicans to the board, and even to their ethics fairs. They also said they were moving. Like, somebody explain what sense this make. You're moving your safety and standards and ethics committees out of California to Texas because you say you're concerned about the environment in which they happen in. Can you make that make sense? Can we make that make sense? You're monitoring the world. You're monitoring your Facebook is a virtual environment. So why are you moving it to making a big deal of moving it to a physical place, Texas, to do the monitoring? Yeah, play with somebody else. Like I said, I am going to open up a public Facebook and to go after bigots and racists, and I'm gonna see how long it lasts. Yeah, we're gonna see how long it lasts. Also, Facebook is replacing their fact checkers. Listen, fact checkers with community notes, just like X. And if you've been on X and you've seen community notes, nobody looks at the community notes. Nobody looks on the community notes, and they carry no weight because people still circulate some of the most abhorrent and shockingly lying posts and call them fact. That they do that. Um, they do that. What's up, Rain? They do that, and they do it with immunity, and nobody ever quotes the community notes on them. So Facebook is basically X. X and Facebook are just different formats, but they're doing the same They're going to allow the same misspreading of information. It really got me with the it, allowing trans people to be referred to as it, allowing black people to be referred to as farm equipment, and allowing women to be referred to as kitchen appliances, appliances in general. Let's back. Well, that's back. Yeah. And notice, and I noticed the groups, and then he had the nerve talking about we are for free speech and protecting environments. No, you're no longer for protecting environments, and free speech should still come with facts. I'm not saying, okay, allow people to say what they want to, but I guarantee you, the minute you start going after somebody for calling you a farm equipment or phoneticizing the N word, you're going to be the bully. I made a video recently about the young lady that was in Hampton, Virginia, that the Pastor Jackson made her stand up before the congregation and apologize to the congregation for being pregnant. And of course, I called him probably a weak ass bitch. I don't know if it was a weak ass bitch or a piece of shit. I think I probably used both of them in the video. So I get a guidelines violation for bullying, harassing the pastor. Yeah, I get a community guidelines violation for bullying and harassing the pastor. Oh, how does that work? How does that work? So, of course, I just reposted the video. Repost the video on my backup page. That's how arbitrary this is. But the idea that I don't really need social media to censor anything to help me out personally. I just need them to stay out the way when we respond to the personal provocation. But we all see that social media is leaning more and more towards protecting um, conservatives, bigots, racists, rocket raccoons than it is the other way. It is. And then Mark Zuckerberg, if you watch the video, if y'all, have you all seen the video? Uh, have y'all seen the video of Mark Zuckerberg and what he said is to leave society, social media? I don't think you should because at the end of the day, I think we need to fight wherever the fight is. I hear people, and it's like I also made a video talking about that about we need to stop running from fights and we need to start having them wherever we find ourselves. Those of us who can. Now, by the same token, I don't expect everybody to be like me and fight in physical situations all the time. I always choose violence. I literally no. As a matter of fact, violence chooses me. It's usually standing beside my bed an hour before I wake up, ready. Um, it leaves me an hour after I'm asleep, and I only sleep for 3 or 4 hours. So yes, violence is just waiting, hanging out, waiting. I think that it has to be because we have become too passive in the face of aggression, and we are blaming on things like, oh, it's social media, nobody know. Yep, yep. I'm cussing you out on social media. I'm cussing you out in person. I'm cussing you out wherever I find you. And people are like, oh, well, you just bringing attention to the problem. We've had this problem for 400 years. I think you all are missing the point. I think you're missing the point. Everybody is in survival mode, and Mac, survival mode. I'm not in survival mode. I'm not in survival mode. I'm in I will beat your ass mode. I stay in that mode. Survival is the bare minimum. No, and I think I think it's a false equivalency to compare fighting bigots and racists with just surviving. No. Survival mode is what you go through at 13 when you grow up in a community, when you grow up in the hood and you join an organization and you are being shot at. Um, that's survival mode. I think when maybe it's just me, I have a different perspective. Survival mode is something totally different. Taking the fight to the enemy is about fighting the enemy. Yeah, it's not the it's easier for me for me, punching a racist in the face at 57 is easy. What's up, Raven? It's easy for me to fight racism. as far as physically punching them in the face. I have no qualms about it. I don't lose any sleep about it. I don't second guess it. Um, Digitally slapping somebody is also quite easy. It's quite easy. I don't overthink it. I don't have this flashback. Oh, I'm in danger. No, they're in danger. They're in danger. Oh, retrospective. Hey, yes, I don't have any qualms with it because if we sit back and do nothing in the face of any provocations, then the provocation grows. We'll find ourselves at a point where we're like, hey, how did we get here? We didn't get it. We got here because when they were talking about violence, you didn't do anything about it. So your silence in the face of the talk of violence has led to actual violence. They need to know that everybody's not a passive. I'm sorry. I just think most people um, that say they're down are just passive because they always make an excuse for inactivity. They're always making an excuse. What's up, lovely lady? They always make an excuse for their inactivity. They like, oh well, they're just talking. Okay, I'm telling you, if you break it up when they're just talking, they'll think about how can we, if they're that violent in our talk, just think how violent they'd be if we physically show up. I'm a firefighter. Burning buildings and disasters are my home. Let's get it. As a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, you know so much about burning buildings that you know how to burn some. And sometimes, please don't make me talk about California right now. Please don't make me talk because I'm gonna hurt somebody's feelings. And I'm looking at other comments from other places where my live is showing. I told you I'm back everywhere now. But yeah, I have a lot to say about California. I have a lot to say about the fact that um I'm Donald Trump is blaming Gavin Newsom for the fires in California. That's like that's like us blaming that's like us blaming your next door neighbor for the rotation of the earth. That's like blaming your next door neighbor for seasons. Do you understand? In 1850, yes, I'm going back because there's a history lesson in this also. Not wishing anything bad on people or anything like that, but the reality is natural disasters happen. And not only that, in this case, the indigenous people of California, when the white man followed that manifest destiny to move to California because they deserved everything from sea to shining sea, the indigenous people still told you all, why are you all building your homes there? Literally, why are you building your homes in that area? Because those are trees and they catch fire on a regular basis. In 1850, 4.5 million square miles of California's acreage in 1 year. 4.5 million acres of land was ravaged by fire that lasted months. And of course, we didn't have the ability to fight fires like we do today then. So even adding that into the equation, fire. Uh, and get me wrong, you see the images and humanity centering itself in these places, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is horrible." It is. Loss of life is horrible, but stop acting like this is nature out to get you, or you can come. Like our society is prepared to restructure fire wildfires on a structure we're not. Because Donald Trump is blaming Gavin Newsom. Don't get me wrong, I have no love lost with Gavin Newsom, but my thing is about policy, not natural disasters. Is blaming him because LA firefighters are literally fighting 4 firefighters at a time, fighting 4 fires at a time. And the president, instead of talking about, well, the president elect, instead of talking about, aid and stuff like that that you're going to put in place when he comes to office, because if anybody remembers the 2019 fires that he made, he had to be talked into showing that, some of these people supported him before he did anything about it. But I digress. Um, Water pressure. Greetings. Frontage. Is that from it? From age two? You know about water pressure. You're a firefighter. We should never have built a city there. And we deal well. Greetings, nephew, Agala. Um, we should have never built a city, and we deal with the consequences of it. And people want to live in a swamp, and they keep digging it out. And New Orleans is one of my favorite cities. Trust me. But I also know that New Orleans is in a bowl that used to be a swamp, and nature will reclaim it as soon as nature, at every opportunity you give nature. If you've ever been to New Orleans, you know you're below sea level, right? You understand you drive down into New Orleans. It's a reality. If you're there during hurricane season, you understand that. Um, you understand that. So when I listen to people, and don't get me wrong, like I say, I don't wish anybody's house is destroyed, but I want you to understand when I lived on the coast of Mississippi, I understood I lived in a hurricane zone, and I took appropriate means to leave anytime they talked about a hurricane. I have, in my life now, you have to decide which natural disaster area of the country do you want to live in. Yes, I like my natural disasters, something like the earth doesn't move or in fire. Yeah, those are the kinds I kind of write off. Bad weather, we get warnings about. Yeah, earthquakes, wildfires that jump hundreds, of, hundreds of thousands of feet at a time. Yeah, I'm not contending. My house is wood; it burns. Uh, but that's the reality. But the reality goes back to the fact that every season, I don't know how many of you all pay attention to your life, but I'm 57 years old. And in my lifetime, half of them have saw major wildfires break out in the same area of California every season. Half my life, 26 years, I know that I can name a major wildfire that has broken out in California. 2020, 2020, 2018. Yes, they happen. And loss of life is, but we also have to acknowledge our own culpability. You remember Puget Sound? There was a mudslide, and these people had literally built their homes on the side of a mountain. Now, bear with me, because I know this is probably geographically new to people, but did people skip geography and earth science in high schools? Well, as a matter of fact, I had earth science in eighth grade. Do we know that mountains are prone to mudslides and rock slides? Why the fuck do I build my house on the side of a mountain, knowing that it's prone to mudslides and rock slides? And then when it happens, I'm like, why didn't somebody save me? Why didn't some? You couldn't save my house. Oh, yes, they did. GR, and never considered in every decision. Nature will always find a way to balance itself. Right, every year the California fires have been happening. Malibu is a smoldering ruin. Exactly. Just different sections. Different sections. And this is, I tell people, don't move somewhere that you can't come up with an evacuation plan. We live on a living planet. And this is in no way to minimize yes, I'm minimizing the destruction, but it's no way to minimize the loss of life. But you have to understand, and part of it is that it's a slow news cycle. So every news station you turn on is talking about the travesty and destruction going on in California, and humans need people to blame. That's another thing you would find, that a lot of the humans need someone to blame. They have to blame somebody for a naturally occurring fire. They have to blame somebody for not properly saving their home that they built in an area that is prone to wildfires every few years. And it's somebody's fault that they, you know just defoliate all of California. That's how you solve the problem. All those redwood trees that you want to be close to, all the palm trees, defoliate California, and then you won't have to worry about wildfires. Is that doable? Is that what you all want? God, I want to move, but not to a place that has fire tornadoes. Good evening, TNathan. Good evening, Jack. What's up, Chris? Just Chris. Greetings, everybody. Welcome. Like I say, I'm back. I'm back on the conversation with format, podcast format. You can catch me on YouTube, Twitch, and of course social media here. And you can go back and listen to the show on YouTube where it is posted on a daily basis. My holiday is officially over, and I am back on the job. Even though I never technically left, I still was broadcasting when I wanted to during the holidays. But yeah, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, or therein. A lot from the fact that I am black, and I know the owner of the station. So if I'm a couple of minutes late, you have to deal with it. And the DJ has to deal with me running over if I have something I'm really into at the time. So that's the rules of the game. That's in my contract, and that's how we do it. So, uh, conversations with TNathan, we cover social justice issues, we cover political issues, and we cover topical issues of the day. And we do it from a uniquely black perspective. That is my spiel. Now, thanks for joining us. And I also talk back and forth with my family that are in the chat on different different places. And then we usually have bootleg movie night afterwards, depending on how long winded I am and what the topic of the day is. A lot of topics we're just covering today, a lot of wrap up things talking about why you shouldn't build your home in an area that is prone to wildfires and then complain that you built your home in an area prone to wildfires. The Palisade areas and the Malibu areas, these are not inexpensive homes. These are not. These are homes that are $1 million and up. So we're not talking about poor people here in these areas. As a matter of fact, building your home in these areas contribute to poor people having to suffer from the smog inhalation caused by man-made materials when they catch fire, and then you know not the same as just basic wood catching fire. And I saw a video that I would never make because it was taken from inside of a home that was surrounded by fire because this person wanted to document it. And I'm not talking about like a remote system. The person was in there with their dog filming fire. James Wood, actor, a MAGA supporter who could die and I wouldn't care, was talking about he was staying in his home to make sure that the embers didn't catch on fire as fires lick up the side of the canyon. Personally, personally, I feel the same way about James Wood's home as I did about the MAGA supporters in the car that went skidding as they were heading to to January 6th. Talking about they wanted to make sure that President Trump um, was the certification took place. Yeah, I feel the same way. Yep, I said it. And I don't apologize about feeling that way. If anybody doesn't like the fact that I could actively sit and laugh as MAGA supporters that said God had cleared a path for them to the White House slid off the road, okay, maybe it's not the show for you. Maybe it's not the show for you if you have a problem with that. I'm not very familiar with Cali. I have a friend in the Bay Area, and that's it. I saw that video. I was horrified. Oh, you talking about the house that they were in the house? The one just Chris, they were in the house filming it. The MAGA post and my dying laughing when they slid off. Listen, I died laughing when they slid off the road, and then I came back to life to die laughing when he said that, "Oh, we good, we got it," and he tried to crank the engine, and it didn't start, and he said, "I guess we out." And they were literally live streaming. He was literally live streaming while they were traveling, singing. They had taken the words, they have co-opted a gay anthem, YMCA, and turned it into MAGA, right? And I was like, do you all not realize what you're doing? Yeah. How blatantly ignorant of you to co-opt an anthem, a gay anthem, from the very culture and group you say you also are able to call mentally ill now. On That's another thing I want to cover about what Mark Zuckerberg basically has done to Meta. And by Meta, you get Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, all of them covered by the same community guideline policy. So he also they have also done away with prohibited speech as calling the LGBTQ community mentally ill. That's back in play. So yeah, you can mentally ill is a thing that you can do on Meta now. I'm late. Why? What are we talking about tonight? Oh, just a wrap up, Jazz. Welcoming myself back to YouTube and all the cases and uh, range of things, wildfires, meta, censorship. We're talking about that. TNathan, have you read Parable of the Soul? What is happening now reminds me. Does it? Yes, I've read it. I've read it. Um, yeah, I can see that. Now that you bring it to my attention. What's up, Sleep Comic? What's up, Sleep? Yeah, how'd you bring it to my attention? But I've always, listen, sometimes you have to forgive me because there's some things that I think people, they take serious, and I think it's just funny as hell because it's like people talking about on X, and Petra and I were talking about this, people talking about on X how Donald Trump warned California that a forest fire was coming, that a wildfire was coming. And then are people running with this? See, and that's how I feel about parables, or people talking about apocalypses, right? People have been talking about apocalypse all my life. They talked about apocalypse all my grandmother's life. It's we live on a living planet. Natural disasters happen, um, and we don't even have natural disasters able that have wiped out half the population on any time. There are eight. We're careening towards a population of 10 billion people on this planet, and 75% of them are stupid. We're careening towards it. I hear people talk about apocalypse, but the universe and nature actually doesn't prove that idea because we're not decreasing in population. There has been no massive level extinction event that has affected humanity in a manner that we can even say reaches the level of apocalypse. It's like even the bubonic plague and the Black Death. Yeah, they wiped out 2/3 of Europe, but the rest of the world was fine. Maybe should have wiped out a little more. Maybe we could have avoided the age of exploration and followed by the age of oppression. Um, but yeah, I hear that, but I don't know. Maybe it's just reality for me is that at the end of the day, it's still going on. My reality is the apocalypse for me is oppression. If we ended oppression, there's a lot of the things that have happened that we could collectively avert. We could collectively respond to because man's technology is not as big as his ego, and the idea to think that you can stop a tsunami on a planet that has active rings of fire in the volcano level is misguided at best. It's misguided. Uh, It's not that we can stop these things, it's how that we respond to them what could be the hallmark of our society and our civilization. So yeah, I hear people, I think apocalypse is an overused word. I think the idea that everything that happens, people read more into it than it is. It's not the event so much as our response to the events that make it. Um, yeah, I know what it was about. I just said I read it. But my idea is it's more about the reaction to those events than it is those events. No, I don't believe apocalypse is overused. I don't even think um, the apocalypse we can create is a nuclear one, and the planet will survive. A planet will survive. A feral state, we're feral right now. That's another thing I always say. I say if you have to acknowledge that at its base in our society, we are a feral society. There are those of us who try to call people to a higher level, but they're few and far between. If you look at the rhetoric that um, is being preached about taking over places, that's just a feral desire. You know what? I streamed that movie in bootleg movie theater and introduced it to some people, right? I can't stand Terry Crews, but I streamed that movie in bootleg theater to talk about this is a reality more so that we will be our own demise because of that level. But Idiocracy is hilarious and scary at the same time. It's hilarious and scary because our society does seek to try to weed out those that are about true revolution and change and those who are about using the brain. Yeah. And that the responses that we're talking about, yes, it's in idiocracy, the Gatorade, and it's the corporations and everything. And yes, plants need water, not Gatorade. But we have convinced ourselves that in the quest for profit, that every company comes along selling us a line, we believe that we have to do it that way. And the reality of it is that, and you don't even have to be a conspiracy theorist. And I see so many people engage in conspiracy theories that it's tiresome at best. But reality, like I was talking about, the planet is approaching 10 billion people. Um, in the face of everything people want to call apocalypses, right? Like I say, God has been coming back ever since before Jesus. I don't know. Western civilizations of religion really is funny to me. I'm sorry. I know I'm about to lose some people because I said that. But at the end of the day, I am a descendant of people who believed in their ancestors, and we have our own pantheon of spirituality. And I refuse to give up my power to any Western civilization's oppressive God. So if you feel I just said something wrong, it was nice knowing you. But at the end of the day, these cycles we put ourselves in are just that, cycles we put ourselves in. We choose to have these ideologies that are rooted in our destruction and salvation. Like I say, we are we are determined to destroy ourselves more so than nature is ever determined to do anything except be nature. I think we should evacuate the U.S. and colonize Europe. I'm kidding. Look, see, that's the problem. I don't want Europe. I don't want Europe. I don't. I don't. The Moors didn't even want Europe. They went there for a little while, did their thing, and then we're like, y'all not gonna wash y'all asses, huh? So we're leaving. We went to Spain, but the Moors didn't even want it. And the Moors are not African. I know people always get caught up in that. The Moors are. They're dark skinned and they're Middle Eastern, but they were not truly from Africa. Um, but history, yeah, history. Um, yeah, I'm good. I'll pass on Europe. Yeah, I pass on Europe. Um, if we're gonna go somewhere, let's go back to where they have rare earth metals that we can use and build an economy of and build our own Wakanda. Um, and that's the reality of the situation. I think that people of color have been duped into a bill of goods sold by Western European societies that somehow their standard of living should be the apex of standards of living. Like when you hear people dependent, like I was listening to DeSantis talk about Western culture and civilization is responsible for the world's advancements. I was like, you all were still in caves, literally, when Timbuktu was educating in Africa. You were in caves, literally, when we figured out how to invent a mathematics that was used to build pyramids. And you were literally in caves while our societies were old and crumbling. Uh, In every, and I'm talking about not just Europe, I'm talking about South American societies, Asian societies. These societies were old when you all discovered how to use fire to cook your food. So please spare us your Western civilization advancements, right? The Western civilization has did more to intervene and interrupt the path of greatness of other societies than enhance any of them. Yep, another thing that people don't like it when I say. Yeah, ranks right up there when I say the civil rights movement in this country was a failure. Mm. Yes, Timbuktu, the University of Higher Learning, that was a university before the word university was invented. So that's how Europe's get to a way to saying that um, the first university was in Bologna. Uh, Bologna. It's actually Bologna. It's spelled, but no, we can't call it Bologna, right? I but that, yeah, they say it was the first university. Yeah, that was the first university because that was when you started using the word university. But just like the Gulf, want to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Just because you changed the name of something doesn't mean that that was it. The first. That was just the first recognized European standard. Um, African, well, committing, and the mother, the homelands was naming things that your Europeans did hundreds of years later, if not thousands of years later, before you even came along. Like irrigate the Nile, learn to wash our ass, soap, shoes. I could go on. The list is long. Yeah. Forks, hey, I only you on the same tree. I just saw your for, forks and soap also came around. Yeah, 10 minutes. Oh, it just flies by. Where does it go? Are we watching? Are we watching a movie tonight? Are we? Am I keying up a movie? I have Cora keyed up. Western civilization were more advanced in war weaponry and arrogance to use it on innocents. Yes, that is undoubtable. I mean, even their use of gunpowder, they just reworked the gunpowder that the Asians and Chinese culture used for fireworks, black powder, black powder, and used it to propel projectiles into people. Um, People always talk about how was Western society able to colonize and enslave so many people because warfare was different. The idea of warfare in marginalized, well, in black and brown community societies was not about completely annihilating your enemy to the point that Europeans showed they were willing to do. Yeah. So part of it was shock, and then Shaka Zulu figured that out real quick. And the minute he turns it around on them and proved that they could win, then they did the other thing they're good at, and that is infiltrating and breeding rocket raccoons. I said what I said. No lies. I miss the old lives. The marathon reading people lives. TikTok has fucked everything. Yes, yes. But and I'm wondering. I'm telling you, I'm going back to Facebook now that they remove that. They think, see, they remove those censors thinking they're going to hurt people. I'm going to test them. Yes, I'm going to test their limits now. Like I used to when I used to get accounts banned on, I used to get accounts banned on Facebook. So I'm going to go back and test their limits and see all of these changes they've made to allow basically hate speech. I'm going to go show them. Yeah, yeah. When I finish digging up people's dead grandmothers, somebody's gonna be glad to place some restrictions in place. Yeah, and we need to stop complaining about the tools that they use and start learning how to use those tools against them. That's one thing I've always said. I've never needed social media to fight my battles for me. I just need you to get out the way while I fight my own battles. I need you to get out the way. Like this app. Yeah, they still. I'm wondering if they're gonna remove these guidelines after January the 20th. But see, like I say, these guidelines are in place to protect racists and bigots. Remove them. If let this become the wild wild. Let social media become the wild wild west. Let it. Stop. I mean, I want you to censor things like children being exposed to certain things. Yes, I'm all for that. Never going to ever stand in the way of that. But somebody called me the N word, and I dig up their grandparents and parade them around because you shouldn't have put them on their page if they didn't want to. When I animate grandma singing to you, I don't want to hear that I'm bullying and harassing. I don't want to hear it. I'm entering opposition spaces and they are obsessed with not getting dirty. Listen, I'm going to tell you, it's a two-way street. I don't open my panels up to toxic racists and bigots because there are people I care about in those panels. And we know that racists and bigots, MAGA supporters, Rocky Raccoons, the first people they go after are going to be black women and then members of the LGBTQ community. And while it's not so much as I can say I create safe spaces, I mean, that safe spaces exist, there are certain things that I don't expose those I care about to and then complain about they're exposed to it. No, black women are not going, don't come, if I have a panel discussion, black women and trans people don't have to worry about being on my panel and being attacked by somebody on my panel. That's not going to happen. By the same token, safe spaces are created, they're not inherent. So it is not even that I create a safe space because there'll be people in the comments saying things, but you can deal with it differently. But I don't believe in intellectual conversation with people who are not have any intellect. So that's why you don't see panel discussions with me inviting MAGA supporters up to have an intellectual conversation with, because our intellects are not on the same level. One and they don't. And anything that you can allow them to spew is only toxic. And then I don't go to panel discussions when people allow MAGA discussers on, and I'm not the host, because most of the time the host doesn't have the intellect to deal with the false information and toxicity that MAGA supporters, Rocky Raccoons, and anti-LGBTQ people are putting out. And I don't go to and I don't enjoy panel discussions where white people are talking about what can we do to end racism, when the answer is stop being racist. And why are we doing this for 12 hours at a time? And why are we still having these conversations in 2025? Because you want clicks and views. And all that is toxic. All that is toxic, and it doesn't address the fact at hand. And as long as we continue to participate on that level, we continue way to elevate their toxicity. We're not that. I haven't seen but a few black intellectuals on this app. I've only seen a few LGBTQ intellectuals on this app. I've only seen a few intellectuals from marginalized communities on this app. 90% of the others are toxic themselves, and they're only in it for clicks and views. And I have seen very few truly white accomplices on this app. I see a lot of white allies that need pats on the back for what they do. But I really see a lot of white accomplices on this app that are speaking up from a point of listening to what the problem is. Most of the people y'all listen to on this app, when they talk about racism, they can't define racism, and they never even talk to anybody and ask them what we need to fight back. I don't need white people telling other white people not to say the N word. I watched. I heard about it. I didn't watch all 12 hours. It was a lot of 12 hours of these white people got together and decided to tell other white people not to say the N word and chastising them, but they didn't spend 1 hour of this this 12 live talking about issues that really affect the black community that we would like your assistance with, because they never asked. They just assumed. I fight over the N word. I punch people in the face. I don't need your help with that. I can deal with that. And I don't need another apology tour from another white person because they said the N word accidentally in a concert. I don't need that. Or if you want to help, you talk about stop being racism, stop being racist, and start supporting systems that alleviate the pain and suffering that marginalized communities face. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about redlining. Let's talk about what you can do to end redlining. Let's talk about what you can do about gerrymandering. Let's talk about what you can do to support communities that are literally being attacked physically on a regular basis. Let's talk about how you can put your body in between other white people when they go to an attack marginalized people who can't defend themselves in the same way that you could. Yeah, you can shoot somebody doing violence and they'll throw you a ticker tape parade. A black woman shoot her abuser and they want to throw her in jail. Let's talk about those things. All this other shit y'all want to talk about, I don't want to talk about. Don't want to talk about. 1 minute. I GCPR. Y'all gonna get 1 minute, and then Penelope tells me I have to go. Hey, my chief of security. My chief of security. I missed him last night. I missed my chief of security last night. I be missing my chief of security. All right, but I know. Yeah. Oh, I just saw you. I'll be on a rant. So it is 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock midnight on the East Coast. GCPR. I don't know what the time is wherever you all are, but thank you for joining. And I'm gonna turn it over to the DJ. I'm only gonna do a half a minute exit this time. DJ, you can have it on GCPR. And I'll see you all tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Got to figure it out wherever you are. And I'll try to be um, just 5 or 6 minutes late. Peace. All right. Thank you, Penelope. And I actually ended it this time because, sometimes it'll be going and people be trying to call me at 4 o'clock in the morning saying, "Are you still on live?" I was like, "No." I was like, "You still logged in?" It's like, "Oops." Yeah, he is Mr. Wolf to your Picard. Yes, yes. He's more like he's more like Mr. Wolf and Tuvok combined. Yeah, it's my chief of security. Did you get my package yet? No, I didn't get your package yet. It's still snow on the ground. Yeah, it's still snow on the ground. And if I did got it, if they did bring it today, I'm going to let you know. I didn't go to the mailbox. Listen, I ain't been to the mailbox. I just gonna go on and tell you the truth. I ain't been to the mailbox today. Yeah, that is no excuse. Yeah, that's the excuse I'm using. Yeah, even if I'm not the United States Postal Service. I don't show up in all those conditions. If they showed up, yeah, I'm not even walking from my door to the mailbox. Yeah, I was laughing because I was telling Vesty, um, I was hoping the garbage service got pushed back. It was supposed to be on Monday, right? But I was so happy when they put out the alert that they were not going to pick up on Monday, that they were going to push everything back a week because I wasn't going outside. And then Tuesday, I waited till the last minute, Monday night, and make sure they didn't put out an alert to say they were pushing it back again. I waited. I was like, please put out an alert. And then I waited and I was like, oh, gotta take the trash out. I took the trash out, and then I got mad. I said, they better not call an alert. After I took it to the curb, I said, they better not call an alert. They better come pick this trash up. Yeah. Okay, well, if your banana bread is dry, it's not my fault. It's not gonna be dry. Can't walk the mailbox and no, my poor baby is not used to snow, is not used to the frozen concrete, and she broke a nail and it was like she broke it to the quick and I didn't know. She stepped inside, stepped on the floor, and she hollered. And I dropped everything in my hand, and my baby was bleeding. And if you know me, you know I don't cut my dog's nails because I'm the first time I tried to do it. The first time I tried to cut her nails when she was younger, I hit the quick, and she screamed like that, and I have been traumatized ever since. So I pawn it off on anybody else that can do it. So I won't cut her nails, and then but her nails have been cut. Don't get me wrong; they've been cut. They got cut over the holidays, Christmas. But yeah, the frost, the ice, yeah, it hurt my heart. So now I only let her out the back door, where she's still, and she doesn't stay outside long. First day, she was like, yeah, bouncing in the snow. Yeah, the next time I tried to let her out, she was like, yep, I'm pissing on the patio. Normally she wouldn't piss on the patio, right? But it's snow on the patio too, so it'll melt. I don't do Enzo's nails either. I take him in. Yeah, I can't be trusted. I can't be trusted. And some people in my bestie was like, we made the thing. I'm confident in the things I can do. I know my limitations. See, unlike some people, that's why I have a chief of security to keep me to protect other people from me. But I'm confident in the things I do know, and in the things I need to learn, I will learn. But there are some things I can't do, like cut nails or fix furnaces, and I don't try. I don't try. I make sure we turn them over to the people who know how to do it. All right, let's see. I wanted to watch Cora tonight. Um, I wanted to watch Cora tonight. If anybody wants to join me, um, yeah, Cora seemed like interesting. That's what I was going. That's what I had lined up last night, but we made it was like late after we got off. And where are my people at who know who Dutch is? Anybody know? Has anybody read the series of books on Dutch? Dutch one, Dutch two, Dutch three, Dutch two was Angel's Revenge, I think. Yeah, water heaters, dryers, washers are easy to fix. Yeah, sure. They sure are. If you don't have hands that can't get into the places, yeah, I need to get my nails done. I need to get my nails done and a haircut, but I'm broken to the 15th, so we will get it done after the 15th. Uh, yeah, they're easy. Y'all see the video. Y'all saw the live stream of me trying to fix the furnace. My hands didn't even fit in the places that Nick was trying to get me to get my hands in. Yes, that sounds good, but they're not easy. All right. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're going to watch a movie tonight. Um, and then Penelope, you never got back with me on where you are in Squid Games, where you are in Squid Games. So once, uh, dun, dun, dun. I fell asleep during the fourth episode. All right, understood. Mm, we'll get to that. So tonight we're going to watch. Furnaces are easily. Shut up, Petra. Shut up, Petra.
HDMI 3 ARC computer
Yeah,
muting.
muting. Petra's telling me what's easy to fix, and I'm like, stop it. So we're gonna watch Cora tonight. I'm about to go. I have to log out. I'm tempted. I want to see. I want to see if I can go live at the same time that I'm live on this, but I don't think so. Um, who on Jazzy? You on Facebook? You on Facebook watching? All right. So we got to end here, and I'm gonna end here and instantly go live on Twitch, and we're gonna watch Cora. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna give y'all a chance to file in, and my Twitch is acting funny on PC. You need to get your Twitch in check. You're on Facebook already? No, I haven't. I haven't gone live on Facebook yet. I'm going to figure it out. I can go live on Facebook at the same time I do this, and I'll figure. It. I think, but if I create a new account to do that, then I know I have to get up to a certain number of followers to go live on Facebook. I don't know what that number is. I don't know if it's 100 or 1,000. Um, mm, and I'll figure it out because I'm not going to use my family Facebook to go live on because I don't mind stalkers, but I try to keep them alive. As long as they don't stalk my family, they can live. So I gotta figure that out too, because it also becomes incumbent upon me to protect my family. It's not the other way around with me. Y'all know that. So they have a number now to go live. They do. Yeah, you can't for ODS. I'm talking about for ODS using ODS to go live. Yes, because I believe I need one stop shopping. I can't be trying to go live on three different systems all at one time. I'm already late. I'm already late just with one system. Can you imagine me trying to live into four different systems at the same time? Yeah, the show would start at 10:30. Yeah, instead of 10:05. All right, ending it here. See y'all in Twitch in just a moment. Thank you all for joining me. See y'all tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Jimmy Carter will be laid to rest tomorrow. So I've been waiting for it. I'm going to review his presidency and talk about who Jimmy Carter was as opposed to who people talking about him being. Because for me, Jimmy Carter was one of the most morally founded presidents we've ever had in this country's history. And I'm talking about not just in the presidency, but extended. And it took a while to realize that. It took a looking back. And when you've had such bad presidents, it's like you can easily get caught up in the fact that a lot of people don't realize Jimmy Carter grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood with predominantly black friends. So when his first statement about civil rights, even though he didn't run on it, was made, um, you shouldn't have been surprised. Shouldn't be surprised. And I want you all in the interim to look up Mary Prince Fitzgerald. I mean Fitzpatrick. Look her up and see who she was.